Hi there. Today I will be explaining and introducing your Unit 0 mini experiment. The purpose of this experiment is to design and carry out an experiment using the scientific method and the skills you've learned in Unit 0. This mini experiment will serve as practice for your Unit 0 final experiment. The standards that are being assessed are all NGSS science practices, including designing and carrying out investigations, using mathematics and computational thinking, analyzing and interpreting data, and engaging in argument from evidence. In this mini experiment, you will carry out an experiment, collect data, and draw conclusions, all using the scientific method and the skills and practices learned so far in Unit 0. In this experiment, you will be investigating if and how the height from which a ball is dropped affects how high it will bounce. The question that you will be investigating and attempting to answer is, how does the height from which a ball is dropped affect the height of its bounce? The available materials for this experiment are a bouncy ball, a ruler, and a tape measure. Now let's look at the procedure that you will carry out to perform the investigation and how to set up for carrying out your experiment.
Hey guys, today I will be quickly demonstrating for you how to carry out the procedure for our Unit 0 mini experiment on bounce height. If you read your procedure, step 1 tells us to start by taking our paper measuring tape and hanging it straight upward along the wall so that the 0 mark is perfectly aligned with the floor. You can see here that I've taken a single piece of masking tape and hung mine in that manner. Now we're ready to move on to step 2, where we actually begin our procedure recording our bounce heights. So you're going to find the mark of the first listed height in the data table, which is 30 centimeters. You are then going to hold your bouncy ball exactly at the height marked on the measuring tape. You will then drop your ball directly towards the floor from that height. When you drop the ball from the floor, you will then carefully watch and measure the height that the ball bounces back up. Some tips on how to get the most accurate readings for your bounce height. First option is if you have another person available, like a sibling or a parent who's willing to help you, so you can have one person perform the drop and the other person be watching carefully on the measuring tape to read the bounce height reading. A second option is if you have a phone that has a slow motion camera option, you can record yourself dropping and watch it back in slow motion to be able to get an accurate reading of that bounce height. As you continue, you will perform 3 trials of each drop for each drop height. Make sure that you are recording your data in your data table as you go so that you don't miss numbers or forget.
Now that we know how to set up and carry out your procedure, the next step is to make a hypothesis. Remember that your hypothesis should be in an if, then, because format. Once you've made your hypothesis, you're ready to carry out your procedure and collect your data. The data table has been provided for you to record your data. As you can see here, you have space for your 3 different drop heights and 3 trials at each height. Once you've collected all of the data for all 3 drop heights, you will then calculate the average bounce height for each one of the drop heights. Once you have collected all of your data and analyzed it, you are ready to move on to your conclusion. Conclusion says to use data from your experiment to write a CER, claim, evidence, reasoning, argument, answering the following question. How does the height from which a ball is dropped affect how high it bounces? Remember that in your conclusion, you should include a relevant claim that answers the question, evidence in the form of data from your experiment, and reasoning to explain how that evidence relates to and supports the claim that you made.